So just yesterday, we had some exciting announcements for Mario Day, and that's all well and good for fans of Paper Mario Thousand Year Door and Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. We got release dates for each of those. We also now know that Super Mario Bros. Movie 2 is a thing, and it's coming out in 2026. But one thing that did kind of get brushed over in all of the Mario Day news actually happened the day before Mario Day, and it specifically came from the Lego company, because they held their own kind of mini Nintendo Direct style presentation, but all around Lego announcements. And sure enough, Mario is heavily incorporated into Lego right now, and one of their big announcements kind of has people raising their eyebrows, questioning on whether or not this is giving us some kind of indication or loose timeline of when we can expect a new Mario Kart game to drop, because where we have to start this entire conversation is just around the simple fact that Mario Kart 8 in its current form, well, I guess I shouldn't say in its current form, but since Mario Kart 8 has been available, that is since 2014, legitimately a full 10 years at this point in time, because of course the history of this game, it was first released on Wii U, which I think for many of you is common knowledge that was not a successful console for Nintendo. It sold just over 13 million units in its life cycle. Obviously with the Nintendo Switch selling well over 140 million now, we know the difference in the gap on what a successful system looks like from Nintendo and one that's not. So Nintendo opted to re-release this game in 2017 as part of the Nintendo Switch's kind of loose launch window lineup of games, because of course the Nintendo Switch came out in March of 2017 and this game was out April 28th. So it was one of the first big titles that people picked up, and I think even to Nintendo's surprise, it went on to sell astronomical numbers. I don't think they ever anticipated it doing the type of sales results that we've seen them acknowledge in their most recent financial briefing, where you can see over 60 million copies have now been sold of this game. That is an insane attach rate. Like literally almost half of all of the Nintendo Switches available out there have also picked up a copy of Mario Kart. Now, granted, we've seen it be the copy and paste repeat bundled in holiday season game, but nonetheless, there's no denying that the legs of this game is just absolutely outstanding, and it's one of those must-own Nintendo Switch titles in just about anybody's collection. So what was cool is Nintendo decided to double down. They were not, I guess, ready to reveal what's next with a big mainline Mario Kart. I am assuming it's going to be called Mario Kart 10. They may call it 9, but I really do think that Tour is considered 9 internally, and I do think that this one will probably be the big number 10, or maybe they'll call it X. There's been rumors of things saying like Crossroads. Who knows what it'll ultimately be called, but nonetheless, rather than Nintendo opting to drop the sequel or follow up to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the current Switch that we have today, we are no doubt going to see them save that game for their next generation hardware, probably within the launch window as well. And you may or may not be aware of recent reports that have suggested that while it was once planned for Nintendo to come out with Nintendo Switch 2 at some point in 2024, it now sounds like that has been internally shifted to early 2025. In fact, March of 2025 at the soonest is what is being reported. Now, interestingly, this Lego announcement that I referenced at the beginning of the video reveals one specific thing, and you can probably guess it if you haven't already, but we will first hop over to My Nintendo News and read through their quick article together, where it says Lego Mario Kart coming 2025. Mario Kart Ready, Set, Build racing in 2025. The Lego Group announced their Mario Day celebration a little early by revealing that they have been working alongside Nintendo to produce Mario Kart themed sets, which will debut in 2025. Perhaps that will tie in with a new Mario Kart title from Nintendo, but we will have to wait and see. So I do want to make it very clear, obviously, just the confirmation of a Lego collaboration with Mario Kart specifically does not confirm that we are getting Mario Kart 10 or whatever it's going to be called in 2025, but I do think that it's interesting timing when you talk about an internal delay for Nintendo's next-gen hardware. There are numerous outstanding rumors that the console may indeed launch alongside of something like a 3D Mario game, which does make a lot of sense, but would Nintendo actually go as far to potentially launch their brand new hardware with the follow-up to their most successful Nintendo Switch game? I think that that would actually make a lot of business strategy. There's also some reports that maybe the reason Nintendo opted to do the early 2025 thing could have been to give developers extra time to polish and finish their big first party titles. It could be that, it could also be manufacturing. We really don't know the inner workings of why Nintendo has potentially delayed this thing until 2025, other than some conflicting information online are suggesting things like first party title delays, or Nintendo doesn't want to have a scalper situation on their hands, and either one of those could indeed be the answer. But I also think that something like Mario Kart 10 getting a huge push in a big way around the launch window of the console, not necessarily even having to launch at the beginning of the year, but maybe it's revealed alongside of the Nintendo Switch 2 presentation. Just like we got to look at that first look trailer, it revealed Mario Odyssey to us before we knew what that was, well in advance. And then we got the game released about a year later after that trailer was uploaded. So there's entirely a possibility that we see a glimpse of a Mario Kart game. Nintendo kind of keeps quiet on it for a while until a Nintendo Direct, and maybe that's their big holiday game that they have lined up for 2025, and that's really what carries the momentum of the Nintendo Switch throughout that holiday season, or the Switch 2 rather, to elevate it to that must-have big console. Everybody wants to upgrade to this thing because I'm pretty sure whatever the next Mario Kart game is will be exclusive to their next-gen hardware. It will likely look visually impressive because I think Nintendo's just going to want to double down on this franchise more than they ever have before. It's always been a very successful staple franchise for them in Mario Kart, but now it's their juggernaut. It's literally one of their games that they should spare no expense on and absolutely come out guns blazing with an incredible looking game. And the really big interesting question will be, can they top what they delivered with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? Because if you look at this game as a whole, with 96 playable courses, it is a ton of content. And if we get something like a brand new Mario Kart and it has like 36 or 48 type of tracks at the end of it, well, you're literally talking about a fraction of what we have playable in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So does Nintendo almost have to outdo themselves in every way, shape, and form and create the Mario Kart Ultimate experience where we legitimately get every track playable from the past Mario games in addition to a ton of brand new ones? That's a possibility, but I also see Nintendo doing a slow trickle of updates for this game, probably a longer roadmap of updates than we've ever seen for a Nintendo game in the past, just like we saw with the Booster Course Pass. That was spread out over 2 years of 6 different waves that were of course added in, essentially one in the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, and the end of the year. And I could see them doing an even longer term roadmap for the next game. Maybe we have 3 to 4 waves of Booster Course Pass DLC to look forward to after Mario Kart 10 is sold and available and it's out there on the market for a while, and they almost treat this as their semi-live service game that continues to get updates, continues to evolve, continues to get new roster members added in, and they could even possibly entertain the idea of adding in cross-franchise support at a broader level than what it has been so far, where of course we have Link playable, of course we have Animal Crossing characters in there. So it's not just like first party, Mario family of characters, but maybe they branch out even further than that and we'd see something more in the relation to a Smash Bros style roster where Captain Falcon's in there, Star Fox is in there, you name it. We get something like 50 plus playable characters that you can switch between, and a ton of different kart customizations, and probably some kind of new unique driving mechanic, because the whole gravity bending thing was the big thing for Mario Kart 8 when it was released. The fact you could go on tracks that were completely upside down and your wheels would turn sideways, or you could go underwater, all of that kind of stuff. I think they even take that to a further level and get really creative Nintendo mindset with this thing. Like I said, I think whenever we do find out about the next Mario Kart, it's going to be a big budget game. It's going to be one of the biggest staple pieces of software for Nintendo Switch 2 around the launch lineup, and this Lego announcement, I think, only leads more credence to the idea that Nintendo is getting Mario Kart ready for a big push in 2025, hopefully alongside or near the window of the launch of their next gen hardware. But that's where I really want to hear from you guys at this point in the video, your personal thoughts and opinions around what you think Nintendo has planned with Mario Kart. Do you think this Lego announcement gives us any kind of indication or any information on what Nintendo may be planning with Mario Kart? Are you on Team 2025 to see Mario Kart 10 or whatever it's called being revealed and sold to us? Or do you think it might be a game that Nintendo shoves off into 2026 or beyond and puts it further into the life cycle of their next gen hardware? So regardless of your thoughts and feelings on everything we talked about today, I do look forward to hearing from you all in the comments down below before you leave the video, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all. around these topics. Go watch the video on screen next if you haven't already. Also make sure you like, subscribe, turn your notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.